Hello, welcome back to my garage again. I've had a few people asking about how the PD conversion is going on the T4, so I thought I'd make this quick video, show you how we're getting along. So here we go. Right, this is where we are at the moment. As you can see, we got the front end back on. I now got the alternator on and the bracket and the tensioner. I've used the alternator, bracket and tensioner from a 20 valve turbo. I've had to put these little spaces in here, which are the washers off of the back of the manifold of the 20 valve, which is just enough to space throughout this, because the cam belt housing on the side of the PD is slightly wider than a 20 valve. What else have I done? Obviously fitted the vacuum pipe, started building all the water pipes. As you can see, everything's on, and also as you can see, I've started building the loom. Now I've used the loom, so as you can see, and I've been running it in, so I've got it in down here, so it comes in down here, and I've got it all coming out onto the ancillaries. I've got the main injection loom coming up here, all comes back around here, and I have used the loom from an Audi A4, and basically I've stripped it all back. I typed all the plugs up so I knew what everything was, and then I pulled the loom apart, and then I've run all the sensory wires in. Any wires that need to be cut back, I've cut back. Now I've mounted the ECU. I'll show you where I put it. Brought the main cable in through here, as you can see, coming through here, and then the main ECU, if you look, I've made a little plate and I've mounted it up in here with all the relays, and then these are the main plugs that join the body ECU to the engine loom. So they're all in there, and then these wires that come down here are basically for ancillary. So we've got control valve for the EGR, aircon, and a couple of other little pieces. This one here is for here is for the water level sensor on the bottle, and then we have an earth strap here, and there's a primary live which is mounted, which is just there. So theoretically I haven't had to cut anything off yet. All I've done is pulled the loom apart and then rerun all the wires where I need them. So I bought the injection loom in, and all I have done for this part of the loom, as you can see here, all I've done for this part of the loom here is I've just cut it back, shortened it, soldered it back together, and then with heat shrinked all the joints. And then the rest of the loom was long enough and good enough, because of the A4, the loom's quite long. I've rerun the loom, go all the way around there, down there, around here, and then here's the airflow meter up around here, and then I've got glow plugs going on down there. These two plugs here will be for my crank and my cam sensor, and then what else have I got? Alternator wire there, and all the wires are there, so everything all plugs in, all good. Obviously I've got no wires or no pipes going to my throttle body anymore, because I haven't got one. I've got this delete pipe in, so I've basically made the engine as simple to run as possible. But yeah, that's where we are at the moment, as you can see, and all the linkages are all connected, all the clutch works. I've actually had it running as well. The main thing that you have to do with these is the body ECU. So that's what we've done so far with the actual truck. I will have the rest of the loom all put in today and all tied up and all reconnected. But yeah, very simple to put the body loom in, very easy, no real wiring skills whatsoever. Yeah, simple as, there you go. And as you can see, I brought it through the main harness point. All I did was slice it open a little bit, and then this stretches, so I was able to force all the plugs through for this part, because obviously I didn't cut that part of the loom, I didn't shorten it, and then all the parts I shortened, I cut them and posted them through, met the other side and soldered them together. The only problem with the A4 loom is it has this massive bit of spongy bit that goes across the top of the engine bay, like round by the bulkhead, and you have to sit there for ages and pick it all off and break it up and pick it into pieces. Then you're left with this on the wires, as you can see, this foamy stuff. But it does come away, you just have to pick it off bit by bit and then work it with your fingers, and then it all breaks away into dust like this, as you can see, and then the wires all end up like that, all looking nice and clean. so it's not hard. It does all come away, that foamy block. Yeah, so that's my plan for where I'm at the moment. Finish the engine harness. Then once I've finished the engine harness, I'll then turn to the body ECU. Like I said, I've already done the body ECU, but I need to now, what I've done with the body ECU is I've cut back. So if you imagine, I'll get you the box. Right, this is what's left of the body ECU. Just that little box of wires. So basically all the other looms have gone and I've trimmed it all back. So all I did was, on the body loom, I kept the OBD plug, clutch brake switch, brake switch, the connectors for the clocks, because the code key is wired into the clock, so you have to have the clocks plugged in, otherwise it won't go. All it'll do is start and die straight away. I've kept the fuse box, obviously the main connection point, as you see there, and this block here is what plugs the engine loom into the body loom. And now I've still got the ignition switch on it, OBD plug is on there, this wire that's all coiled up here, that feeds the fuel pump. Yeah, and all you do is just trim it back to like junction points. Like, see this thing here, this is like a mass cluster point, so you just take the wires back to there or run them back to, cut them all away, and you theoretically don't need any of the other control modules. Like, you get one underneath the seat, there's a couple all over the place, there's ones for the airbags. All you need is the main point that plugs the engine loom into the body loom. You need the fuse box, a couple of little relays remain. You need the connector for the throttle pedal, obviously, because it has electronic throttle pedal. You need the connectors for the brake switch and the clutch switch. The two plugs have to remain that go to the back of the clocks, obviously they have to remain. The key, like the actual barrel, you need the electronic ignition, the electronic barrel, and you need the key fob reader off of the actual steering column, which you have to have all plugged in. You have to take the key to that, and then you can turn the switch, turn it on with the actual electronic ignition barrel. But once I actually wire it in, I'll do away with the ignition barrel and I'll use some relays, and I'll take an ignition feed from the original ignition, which will then turn the whole unit on, and then I'll put in a mega fuse box, like with some mega fuses in it, to actually run all the power towels to go to the actual loom. But I'll show you when I do that, and I'll show you how we get on. Now obviously the clocks are in there for the time being. I said you need them in there to run it, but you do when you have the code key. Now once we're all done, we're going to try wiring the clocks in, which would be pretty cool if I can, but I don't think I will be able to do. So what we'll then do is we'll have to map it, because it'll just be full of error codes, because obviously it'd be trying to talk to loads of other ECUs that aren't there anymore. So all we'll do is we'll get it mapped, wipe all them codes out, delete all the codes, and at the same time we'll rip the actual immobilizer codes out as well, so then it doesn't need a code key anymore, and at that point we don't have to plug the clocks in anymore. It will just start, and then we'll just run it from the original clocks. But yeah, so that's how we got so far. There she is again. I'll have a little moochy round so you can see what we've done. There you go, have a good little look. The other thing I have done is, obviously you have to put a pump in the tank. Now just by so happens I pulled the pump out of the actual Audi A4, which was a 2003, and the actual fitting on the top of it, to show you, is exactly the same diameter and fitting as the actual T4 tank. And then I've just used the fittings and then just put the pipes onto them, drop the actual sender unit into the tank, and it does fit. The only thing I will say is it just touches the bottom of the tank, so you might want to modify the pump a little bit, but the actual top part of the unit that actually seals into the tank actually is exactly the same size in diameter. So it literally pushes straight in, and then you could just plug the wires straight into the top of it. Pretty cool. There you go. Gotta love Volkswagen. But yeah, hope this has been helpful. If it has, please like and subscribe. And yeah, simple as. But there you go again. Have a quick little look. I'll put it down here. move it around slowly so you can see what's going on, just in case there's anything. You can pause it and have a look. I've also used the thermostat housing from the 20 valve as well. I've used the original crank pulley though off of the PD. The actual power steering pulley is off the 20 valve, and the power steering pump as well, I believe, come off the Audi. So yeah, there you go. Nice little look at the baby. It's going to be interesting to see what she goes like as well. It'll also be just interesting to see what her MPG is, seeming theoretically, obviously we've got a modern day injection system now rather than direct injection system. So theoretically she should be a lot better on fuel and a lot better powered. So this is a pd130, so theoretically at standard it's got almost 50 brake more than the original engine. Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, hope it's been helpful. If it has, like and subscribe and ping it about, let other people see what's going on. Thank you very much.